to FS Academy VFR. VFR is Visual Flight Rules, where your primary method of navigation is all about looking out of the windscreen and finding your way. Each lesson has a dedicated section in the manual that dives deeper into the theory to complete your VFR experience, along with maps and charts to reference in flight. We begin here at Liverpool Airport in the Cessna 152 to start you off with basic handling skills and a departure with ATC. We're going to take off from runway 27 and follow the local procedure of following the Mersey River to Seaforth, where we leave the Liverpool control zone. For a normal takeoff, we want to use flaps, which make the wing more effective and reduces our takeoff distance. Please set the flaps to 10 and we'll get started. Airport weather is transmitted by the ATIS, the Automated Terminal Information Service. Weather changes as the day goes on, so each weather report is given an identifying letter, which moves along the alphabet every time a new report is transmitted. Let's listen to the ATIS whilst we wait for the engine to warm up.
Liverpool Information Juliet, time 0950 Zulu, runway NUS 27, surface wind 260, 4 knots, visibility 10 km or more, clouds scattered 3,000 feet, cloud type unknown, temperature +15, dew point +4, QNH 1013. Ground movement control is closed. Acknowledge receipt of information Juliet on first contact.
We now have weather information Juliet, so we can call air traffic control and request our departure instructions. Liverpool Tower, Golf Foxtrot Sierra Alpha Charlie Cessna 152 at Kilo with information Juliet, request clearance and taxi.
Golf Alpha Charlie Liverpool Tower, after departure leave the zone at Seaforth, not above altitude 1,500 feet VFR, squawk 5050.
Leave via Seaforth, not above 1,500 feet VFR, 5050 Golf Alpha Charlie.
Golf Alpha Charlie correct, taxi to hold short runway 27 at Golf, QNH 1013.
Okay, so we've contacted the tower and they've said we can leave the control zone to the north at our exit point Seaforth, but we must stay below 1,500 feet the whole way there. We'll aim for 1,400 feet to give a margin. Release the brakes and taxi to the holding point Golf for runway 27. Leave the apron by taking the taxiway on your left, then make a left turn onto Alpha, the main parallel taxiway, before taking the first right to hold short of the runway.
Keeping an eye out for any other traffic that's manoeuvring. I know there isn't in this mission, but it's all about maintaining good habit.
Take this right and hold at Golf. Good, now come to a stop before the holding line and we'll tell ATC we're ready to go. We say ready for departure as we only use the word takeoff as part of an actual takeoff clearance to avoid misunderstandings. Golf Alpha Charlie ready for departure.
Golf Alpha Charlie cleared line up and take off runway 27, wind 260 at 4.
Cleared line up and take off runway 27 Golf Alpha Charlie. We're cleared for takeoff. Pull onto the runway, line up on the centre line and we'll depart. Keep the nose straight down the centre line and apply full power. Use some right rudder to counteract the engine torque to keep straight on the centre line.
Airspeed line.
Smoothly pull back and raise the nose, engine cowling on the horizon.
Rotate. Positive rate climb.
But now hold the climb attitude and keep climbing straight ahead. Now we're safely climbing away, we don't need our flaps anymore. Please retract the flaps and we'll climb more efficiently. See how the nose drops as we lose lift? Add some back pressure on the controls to hold the climb attitude. Accelerate to 80 knots and we'll get the lift back. Great, keep full power and adjust the attitude to control your speed. Aim for 80 knots. If you get slow, lower the nose slightly. If you get fast, raise the nose slightly. Now turn right to follow the Mersey River northbound. Continue flying up the Mersey, climbing to 1,400 feet. Try to memorise this climbing attitude. Level off 1,400 feet, keeping full power to accelerate to 100 knots. As our increased airspeed gives more lift, feel how you need to push forwards to remain level. To relieve this input, trim nose down until you don't need to apply any control force to stay straight and level. Now you can power back a little to hold 100 knots. Maintain 1,400 feet up the Mersey, staying over the water.
Little high. Trimming to try and mitigate the need to keep applying back pressure. Apply a bit of throttle because the nose has dropped and we're losing altitude. Need to stay within 50 feet of our assigned altitude. Okay, 1,400 feet, 100 knots.
Golf Alpha Charlie, contact Liverpool radar 119.85.
11985 Golf Alpha Charlie. We're being handed over to Liverpool Approach Control now, who we'll be in contact with until we leave controlled airspace at Seaforth. Liverpool Radar Golf Foxtrot Sierra Alpha Charlie, Liver Buildings, 1,400 feet to Seaforth VFR.
Golf Alpha Charlie Roger, report Seaforth.
Wilco Golf Alpha Charlie. Seaforth is the exit point for VFR traffic departing Liverpool to the north. It's found on the east shoreline, just beyond where the western shoreline ends.
Scanning gauges, trying to make sure not creeping away from our assigned altitude, and we've increased by about 40 feet. So just adjusting the throttle, putting it back a bit. Rather than chasing it with control yoke inputs.
Golf Alpha Charlie Seaforth outbound. Request basic service.
Golf Alpha Charlie Roger, basic service.
Basic service, Golf Alpha Charlie. Now we've reached the edge of the Liverpool control zone at 1,400 feet airspace. There is airspace above us, which begins at 3,500 feet upwards, so anything below that is uncontrolled. It's completely up to us to navigate and avoid other traffic. UK ATC can provide either a basic service or a traffic service to VFR flights in uncontrolled airspace. We've been given a basic service from ATC, which means they can pass us important information such as airfield closures or severe weather, but won't provide any clearances or traffic information. Depending on their workload, they may be able to provide a traffic service, where they will also give information about any known nearby traffic to help you, but will not provide avoidance instructions. Keep flying north, and as you did before, apply full power, set the climb attitude, and climb to 3,000 feet. The speed will come back towards around 80 knots, so with the lower speed we lose lift and the nose will want to drop. Apply nose up trim to neutralise the control pressure, holding the climb attitude all the time.
Had a bit of an invection, or was it convection, updraft as we came across Seafood. Started climbing. Do love the way that Microsoft Flight Simulator incorporates that. Okay, trimmed in the climb. Zero back pressure. Might need to apply some right aileron though, as we're canting to the left. can't remember where the L trim is in this plane. I actually don't even know if it has one. So the reason I wanted to do all the VFR lessons as well is because the majority of them are in the Cessna 172, and for the...
Start levelling off and maintain 3,000 feet. Accelerate again to 100 knots.
For the P1 license, flights have to be completed in either the Cessna 172 or the Piper Arrow 28, basically a fixed gear
Again, as
aircraft.
we accelerate, trim nose down to cancel out the control pressure.
So I have the Just Flight PA-28 Warrior for all of my VFR flying, so that I can...
As we're now higher up, the air is thinner, so to preserve the optimal fuel-to-air ratio of the engine, we'll reduce the fuel mixture slightly. Use the red mixture control next to the throttle and pull it back only about a centimetre or so, and see how the engine revs rise as the engine is running more efficiently.
So yeah,
Let's try a few turns. We only want to bank to about 20 degrees for a gentle turn, which is the second white mark around the top of the attitude indicator. Start a right turn towards east, heading 090.
just remember to apply some back pressure as the nose will want to drop as the right wing stops producing lift.
Stop your turn on 090 and set the straight and level attitude again.
Okay, maintains 3,000 feet then. So yeah, I've got the PA-28 Warrior 2, because I want to make sure that all of my VFR flying is in a
For now,
airplane
maintain a heading of 090.
that I will be taking my lessons in.
When turning, use gentle rudder inputs to keep the black ball on the turn coordinator centered for comfortable and efficient turning. Make a coordinated right turn to west, heading 270, keeping the ball centered.
Okay, 20-degree bank. Right rudder. Control the pitch of the nose so we don't climb or descend.
As we turn, the lift from our wings isn't pointing straight upwards anymore, so to stay at our altitude, we need to increase the angle of attack slightly to get some extra lift. You can feel this as the need to hold back pressure on the elevator.
Rolling out onto 70.
Roll out on heading west and set us back to straight and level.
Maintain 4,000 feet, give or take 20 feet. I'm spending a lot of time watching the gauges.
Next, we'll try a speed change to see how it influences our straight and level sight picture. Bring the power right back to idle and decelerate to 60 knots.
Need to make sure I don't descend.
As we lose lift, trim nose up to keep the control pressures neutralised. You'll need to raise the nose slightly to increase our angle of attack to make up for the lost airspeed. Set power for 60 knots and retrim for level flight. Maintain 60 knots. See that our new straight and level attitude has a higher nose. This is our slow flight attitude.
I'm not at 60 knots yet. And I'm climbing, trying not to get above my assigned altitude by more.
Now make a turn either to the left or the right, back to heading 090, keeping the ball centred.
By more than 100 feet. See if I can lose it in the turn. All the way through this, I should have been able to maintain 3,000 feet without the deviations and the speed.
Now accelerate us back to 100 knots, keeping straight and level throughout. Use some right rudder to counter the engine forces.
VFR, I should be looking out the window more, but I'm really conscious of scanning my gauges to maintain the correct profile, height, speed, heading.
Fantastic, that concludes your first VFR lesson. Welcome back. We're to the northwest of Liverpool, this time to look at descending, approach and landing. We're flying straight and level in uncontrolled airspace at 100 knots. Maintain heading 090 and slow to 60 knots, keeping altitude 2,400 feet.
That's altitude and heading maintained.
Staying level at 2,400 feet, set flaps to 10 and see how the picture changes.
Flaps 10.
Maintaining 2,400 feet, see how the nose is lower as the flaps have made the wing more effective. Flaps add both lift and drag, so you need a little extra power to hold your speed. Now set flaps to 20 and see what changes. Hold your speed at 60 knots. Now accelerate to 80 knots. Now keep 80 knots and start a slow descent, only going down at about 400 feet per minute. Keep descending at 80 knots and 400 feet per minute. This is how we'll fly down the initial part of the approach. Now please maintain your rate of descent and extend full flaps. Target 80 knots. Now that we've got full flaps, we have more lift and drag. Set and maintain a speed of 60 knots.
Remembering pitch controls speed, not throttle. Throttle controls lift and descent. So I'm
good. Now holding 60 knots and a slow descent of 3 to 400 feet per minute. This is how we'd fly the end of the approach as we get close to landing. Get used to this attitude and power setting and keep descending further. So this is how things would look as we come in to land. But if things don't go well, we perform a go-around, where we apply full power and pitch up to start a climb. Make sure not to do this too aggressively, however.
Was I meant to do that? I think so, because we're done at 1,000
Let's
feet.
practice a go around.
Okay.
Set full power now and set the climb attitude. Use some right rudder to stay straight and keep climbing. Set flaps to 20. Set the flaps to 10.
Okay, there's Kirkby. Maintaining 090. .300 feet per minute climb. Just below 60 knots though.
Finally, retract the flaps completely. Good. Climb to 1,400 feet and get yourself straight and level at 100 knots.
We've already climbed above that.
Trim nose down to ease the control pressure as you stabilise at 100 knots with a straight and level attitude. Maintain 1,400 feet. Now we'll head back to Liverpool and try a zone entry, approach and landing. Liverpool Golf Foxtrot Sierra Alpha Charlie, request VFR rejoin at Kirby.
Golf Alpha Charlie Liverpool radar, clear to enter controlled airspace at Kirby, not above 1,500 feet VFR. Squawk 5052, clearance limit, car factory.
Clear to enter, not above 1,500 feet VFR to car factory 5052 Golf Alpha Charlie. Turn right heading south. We're now looking to route to the car factory VRP, located just north of the airport. Target speed of 100.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to fly this one again. I think I was in the wrong flat configuration, so I've gone beyond the point in the lesson where I was meant to be.
Now continue south into the Liverpool control zone, and you'll soon begin to see the factory as a large flat industrial building near to the airport. Visual reference points, VRPs, are local landmarks that give points of reference to VFR flights to easily communicate their positions. Chosen for their standout features, VRPs are shown on VFR maps. ATC assigned us a squawk code, which is entered into the transponder to label us on the ATC radar screen.
So yeah, so I was off profile, I was too high, and then because we followed the instructions for the speed
On our way back,
change,
let's talk about the aiming
descending led me
point.
too far.
Once
so I just
established
made
on the approach, we
too
pick a
many
spot on the runway and try to lock that point in the same place on our windscreen all the
cascade
way
errors.
down. It could be runway numbers, a touchdown marking, or
But we're
something
back now.
else. Continue on this heading of south and you should be able to see the car factory soon. Head south towards the car factory.
So the good thing about VFRs, I don't need to be bang on a airway. It's all about the visual reference points, but I was off speed, off altitude for about 60 seconds, if not 90 seconds or more, which again is what I want to avoid. We're now probably 20 feet, 30 feet high, maybe 10 knots, maybe 5 knots fast. We are fighting some wind, so some deviations to be expected, but still want to be tighter. So we're bang on altitude.
Golf Alpha Charlie, contact Liverpool Tower 126.355.
126.355 Golf Alpha Charlie. We'll report to ATC that we've reached our clearance limit at the car factory VRP. Golf Alpha Charlie, car factory.
Golf Alpha Charlie, make right orbit for traffic, call complete.
Right orbit Wilco, Golf Alpha Charlie. Start a 360 turn, known as an orbit, to the right as instructed by ATC.
Okay, so 20-degree bank, maintain some back pressure for altitude, maintain speed.
The landing attitude will be just like what we saw earlier, which we used to fly down towards our aiming point. As we cross the runway threshold, move your gaze to the far end of the runway, and then use peripheral vision to judge your height. Then we'll pull the power back and raise the nose to the flare attitude, which is just enough to reduce your rate of descent, and touch down on the main gear first. Then we'll smoothly allow the nose wheel to land and let your speed fall off with the power still at idle.
Okay, holding speed, altitude of intolerance.
Golf Alpha Charlie, orbit complete.
Golf Alpha Charlie, enter right downwind, runway 27, number 1.
Right downwind, runway 27, Golf Alpha Charlie. Make a left turn here to fly heading 090, parallel to the runway. Descend down to 1,100 feet.
20-degree bank. Let the nose drop a little. Back on the power so we don't increase airspeed.
Keep flying parallel at 1,100 feet until the runway threshold appears at a 45-degree angle behind you over your right shoulder. I'll let you know when to turn. Target speed of 100. Looking over your right shoulder, the threshold of the landing runway seems to be about 45 degrees behind us. Now's a good time to make our right-hand turn to start lining up with the runway. Start a gentle descent and start slowing to 80 knots. Once your speed is down to within the white arc, take flaps 10 and hold 80 knots. in the white arc now, so set flaps to 10. Hold the speed of 80 knots with a gradual descent. Now take flaps 20, speed still at 80 knots. We're looking for a speed of 80 knots on the base turn.
I'm all off. You have to fly this one again. I'm off everywhere.
Golf Alpha Charlie cleared to land, runway 27, wind 250 at 4 knots.
Cleared to land runway 27, Golf Alpha Charlie. Okay, we're cleared to land. Finally take flaps full and slow to 60 knots.
So, no, we're going to go around because we're going to do this one all over again because we're way off profile. It was way too close. So I'm just going to go around. You have to fly it again because the score's going to be horrid. But that's good because it means I get to fix it. Rather than rushing it and flying, and even worse, landing. So I'll go all the way to the end of the runway, we'll turn right, crosswind, we'll then come back down, downwind, fly the approach again. Better to do that than rush the landing. And then we'll see our score, see if we manage to maintain above a D, and then fly it again. Try and maintain all of those speed changes, altitude changes, heading changes. So woulda, coulda, shoulda called a missed approach, but we're letting Flight Sim Academy handle all comms. We're just flying the aircraft. The Aviate. Excuse me. Okay. Wait, so it's at our 5 o'clock. So here we are now, we're on profile, 80 knots. Descending right turn. Full flaps. down to 60 knots. You can see that we're high on the pappy. Fix that once we intersect the glide slope. There we go. Go to idle power.
Power to idle and set the flare attitude.
And roll out.
Stay on the centre line as you decelerate, then vacate at the first exit on your right.
Okay, so I'm hoping that by going around and not rushing the landing, I might have mitigated some of the negative points.
Golf Alpha Charlie taxi via Alpha and link Kilo.
Alpha and Kilo, thank you, Golf Alpha Charlie. Now we're vacated, after landing checks, flaps up, transponder to standby. Well done, so we've looked at re-entering the control zone, entering the circuit and making an approach and landing. We'll move on to focusing on the circuit pattern.